hours on Thursday.
All right. So the minutes were attached. So can we get a motion to approve both? We redid the November also. So we got November and January.
I just have one correction.
Okay.
In the Repair Cafe, I misspoke. The other group that tabled was the citizens concerned about plastic pollution, not citizens concerned against plastic pollution. So
Okay.
just a one word correction there.
You got that, Kevin? Kevin?
You muted?
Kevin,
right.
are you there?
All right, yep, I got you. About plastic pollution, not against.
Thanks, Kevin.
All right, so motion to pass those 2 minutes, approve those minutes?
So moved.
So moved. A second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Yeah. Okay, great. All right. So we have any guests? I don't see any guests on my screen here. All right, so we'll start with task force, Climate Smart Task Force and the coordinator's report. What do you got to report, coordinator?
Basically that I've been appointed to the task force by the town, so I will now be in the process of just contacting Terry to get the resolution so that I can go on the website and make those changes. I've been talking to Mary, who's been filling me in on the alphabet soup about all the groups and everything that we do. And we also had a repair cafe on January. Yeah, let me try that again, on February 1st. So
Okay,
I think I sent the report on that too.
right. You want to say any more on that now? I had you down for a little bit later, but if we're talking about the cafe,
I can say it now if you want. Basically, we had 81 people. It was wonderful. We had a lot of people and we were busy for all 4 hours. So hopefully people liked it and loved it. And from the reports they did. And who wouldn't, getting their stuff fixed for free? I think what I want to do is shout out to the local groups, local businesses that have supported us too. Not so much with donations, but with discounts. Smith Hardware gives us a discount on the parts that I bought for our lamp parts kit. Dunkin' Donuts gives us a discount on the coffee that we buy. And that's pretty much it. We've had a couple of donations before that, but we're in pretty good shape. So
right?
yeah. Yep.
Okay. All right, so what about Mary? You want to do the CCCAP report?
Yeah, the outreach report. Kevin, can you switch me over so I can show my screen?
Sure. Hang on one sec. All right, try it now.
It's up on my side. I don't know if you guys can see it over there yet.
No.
No, still got the gallery.
Do you see the share button, Mary?
Hold on.
Or you have to have it open.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
know. No, I know.
Okay.
Wait a second. Let me get over here. Okay, so I guess this is it here. Do you have it now?
Says Mary has started. Oh, there it is.
It is.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so we don't, essentially, I'm going to make it a little larger. Essentially, the first 2 paragraphs, the same as pretty much the last time. The changes are pretty much in the 3rd paragraph. I think all of you saw it. Essentially, what it says there is that the task force will be the outreach team. And essentially what the task force will do is to provide information about the draft CCAP. You post it on the town website. I'll post it on the Climate Smart Sororities website, and you'll get feedback from the public, compile that and give it to the town board. I don't know if there's anything there, you all have read it, so if there's anything there that you feel needs to be changed or added to, any other responsibilities that you'd like to take on, other than what it says here. I tried to keep it pretty, I tried to keep it pretty much to what we talked about the last time.
Mary, I didn't have any questions about this, but I think you added something in another draft about that the town board would appoint somebody from their,
Oh, yes, we'll get to that, Elizabeth. That's in the implementation plan.
okay.
We'll get to that in a minute. So are we good with this?
Yeah, I am.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Man. Okay. Okay, so do you want to formally approve it or informally leave it the way we are?
Sure. I mean, it looks good to me. I
Okay.
actually printed it out. I just read it again. So.
Okay.
It looks good to me. So.
Okay, so next is the implementation plan. So did you unshare me?
No, you're still co-host, Mary.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, great. Okay. Oh, now it's coming up on my screen, but it's blocking me. Oh dear. Okay, hold on. It's blocking. Okay, let me close it down. Wait. It's blocking my ability to share at the bottom of my screen because my documents are blocking the bottom of my screen. So,
You want me to share it, Mary?
yeah, why don't you share it? This way I won't, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, okay. Essentially, this is a question that you had, Elizabeth.
Yes, I just wondered, would the town board know who among them might be most amenable to this plan, or I guess we just have to trust to their judgment. Is that your impression?
Are you saying that you're asking whether the town would be amenable to?
Well, the first sentence says a person designated by the town board, and then partnering with the task force, etc. Presumably, the town board would among themselves. Well, is it clear then that it wouldn't be a member of the town board, it would be somebody chosen by the town board?
Yes.
Okay. I would imagine then that they would choose somebody who would both be capable and willing to serve in this capacity.
Yes, the reason I worded it like this is because when we talked about it at the last meeting, given the resources that we have and what's on our plate right now, whether we pretty much decided that the task force would not take on the responsibility of overseeing the implementation of the plan. The idea was that the town board can appoint somebody to oversee the implementation, working with department heads and working with the task force, of course, but that we would not be the person's responsible for implementation. So that was the idea that I took away from the last meeting, and that's why I worded it like this.
Yes, that clarifies it for me.
Okay.
I think that's wise.
Okay.
It could be a member of the town board or not.
Correct.
It would just be their decision on who to task. That's all.
Okay, so you're good with that. So I will put this into the draft. And the implementation and the outreach plan then will become part of the draft that you will eventually get.
Okay.
So I've got a quick question.
Yeah.
Who was responsible for implementing it last time?
You were,
No, the last time was 2010. And the community action plan, excuse me, rewind. It was 2010. The state gave us a community greenhouse gas inventory. So that we just got, that went out there, we got approval. It never, that's what we got. In that inventory, it talked about doing a community climate action plan. We actually did not do one at that point. So
Okay, so this is not an update. This is something new.
this is brand new.
Okay, I somehow thought it had been done before. Thank you.
Okay, so, all right, next on the agenda, I'm going to have to, you don't have this one, so I am going to have to, you're going to have to put me over to share. And hopefully my document won't block my, my computer updated as well. And
You're still co-host. You can change the size of the, the document window so it's not full screen, and then once you've hit share, you can make it full screen.
it's, okay, it's full screen now, but it blocks the, okay, Kevin, it's blocking, it's up on my screen, but it blocks my icon to share.
Can you reduce its size?
If you have Zoom
Let me
full
do it right
screen,
there.
it should be on
Hold on,
top,
let me-
right?
Let me see if this works. Does that work?
Yeah,
Yep.
We got something.
Okay,
What's happening?
okay.
Yeah.
All righty, so, okay, just quickly, I'm considering doing the cover for the plan, considering a photo that would be representative of the Community Climate Action Plan. I got this photo, and these are some of the photos under consideration. This one, whoops, hold on, let me scroll up here. Okay. And this is completely subjective. This is completely subjective. This was one consideration. Greg gave me this because it showed, does that represent the community? Would that be a good one to pick? I'll scroll down. And again, it's completely, whoops. This is another one here.
Can you scroll it up a little bit? Yeah, oops.
Scroll up.
slow it down a bit.
Yeah, I have to scroll up. I'm going too quickly here.
Oh, I like that one with the white spring trees and the mountains in the background.
Yeah, yeah, this is John Street. This is the village. This is John Street.
Beautiful.
Could
And then,
could it be a collage of photos?
it kind of could, depending on how much time I want to put into this, Leslie.
Is that,
Was
it me?
that
Are
was
you think,
that was Linda.
Are you
Could we
thinking-
see the solar panels again?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, let me scroll up. And that's our, as you know, our solar, but this conveys really community solar, actually.
yeah.
Right.
Well,
Be
how about one of the pollinator meadow that was under a climate grant?
I think the idea that, my idea anyway, is that it should represent the community. It should somehow,
Okay,
Yeah.
it's a community
Yeah.
action plan. I mean, I'd love to get, and a collage would be great, but getting photos and putting them together just for a cover,
Mm.
time-wise,
Listen.
somebody
Or
else.
even just two, this one of John Street and then the solar panel one might be a good combination.
Yeah, I don't like the baseball field one.
Now,
I don't either.
can you
That's
see see
a-
the pollinator
that's a lot
garden
of
from the
grass.
baseball
Okay.
field?
Well, it's also, yeah, not representative of a whole community,
Yeah,
in my opinion.
If it's one photo, this would be the one that I would pick too.
yeah, this is
We really-
nice.
Yeah, I
That would
agree.
be-
Which one, the John Street one?
Yes.
Yeah.
The John
Yeah.
Street,
That and
Okay.
Magnolia,
Yeah, beautiful.
or a dogwood, or
a
magnolia?
dogwood, huh?
Dogwood, yeah.
Okay, so, all right, again, it's very subjective. If somebody wanted to, or if you know somebody who would want to take this on and just do the cover, that's fine, but I just don't have the time, to play with it that much. So, okay, so you're in agreement that if we put a photo on the cover, this will be the photo, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Unless there's someone who wants to volunteer. I really like the idea of the pollinator medal also, but
I
it's
got-
more work. So let's put it out there to see if someone would want to do a collage.
I've got a thought. I had a professional photographer approach me and he came to our repair cafe and took some shots there. Really nice stuff. And of course, I can't think of his name right now. That's because, I wasn't thinking of him right now. But I could reach out to him and see if he has some shots or could take some shots or take your shots and put something together.
Okay, why
Okay.
don't you do that?
okay.
If Mary, can you send those on to Linda?
Of course, yes.
And then Linda can take it to the photographer
Yep.
and we don't need it right away. So by the next meeting, we can get some feedback. Okay, does that work?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So
And-
one of the nice things about the Magnolia John Street one is that there's a few solar panels there too. So just
Oh.
wanted to put that out.
Good point. And lots of trees.
Does,
And lots
does
of
any,
trees.
Please.
I don't see, where are the solar panels?
On the new redo of the building down at the lower left
Or left.
roof.
Yeah, okay,
Good eye.
good, yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, okay, so final point on this. I reached out to Michael Nelson because he is a photographer who does the aerial shots, which I thought an aerial shot would be representative of the community at large. And this is one that he sent me. However, if we use this photograph, would you approve of paying a fee for it of $100 to use it for our cover? He said he would, appreciate a fee. He is a professional photographer, it's his work. And I said I would bring it to, of course, I couldn't say yay or nay, but I would bring it to the task force to see if the task force would be willing to pay a fee for it. So that's up to you guys.
that's
We
for
have enough
this,
in our budget.
that's for this picture right here?
Yes.
Yes.
And
I
if
would-
we did a collage with this, then that becomes, well, I don't know how that would work, but anyway, yes.
You
So
want-
anyway.
You want to
before-
wait and see what this other guy can do for us and then decide which way you want to go with it? Because he may do, I don't know what he may do or may not. I'll let you know.
Okay, well, let's
So
see.
in the interim, if this is the option, this photograph is the option, does the task force agree to pay a fee of $100? So that's,
I
think
personally
that would be
agree.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yes,
I would be in favor also.
Okay.
yes, I would too. It's within our budget.
Oh, for
I
sure.
mean, Sure.
We didn't use all our money last year.
And he had to get on a very tall ladder to take this picture.
right. Okay, I'm done.
Thank you, Mary.
Oops.
Nicely done.
Hey, Mary, also, just coming from an artist's family, his name should be on the photo.
Oh, he definitely would get photo credit. Absolutely.
Okay, okay.
Absolutely. No question.
Mhm.
No question. Oh, I wish this had not updated. This is really annoying. Do you see my screenshot there?
Yeah, I can take away your co-host
Take
permission.
away your
that should-
privileges and it'll disappear.
Okay, good. Alrighty, I'm done. Thank you.
Thanks, Mary, for doing all this work. That's really great. It's
Yeah.
really great. I think it's really coming together. And all the in the implementation part, there is reference to disadvantaged communities. So the emails that were going around identifying all those, when this gets passed and everything, we can use that information, or whoever's leading this can use that information. So just as an aside there. Okay, so next up, we talked about The leachate problem at the landfill the last couple of meetings, and several of us got together and and what was asked for by Rebecca Martin's group, suggested by Rebecca Martin's group was that the towns, the municipalities involved, put in letters to the DEC to encourage them to act faster on regulations and rules relative to the leachate problem. So we put a letter together, several of us, and I sent it out. So I'm suggesting, we did a lot of work on it. I'm suggesting that we send that letter to the town board and suggest that they send it on to the DEC. So
Could Zach submit it, or since he's our liaison?
whoever, yeah, he could. Zach,
I
are you
would,
there?
yeah, I would be, sorry, I'm going in and out of mute. The baby's been a terror tonight.
Okay.
I would be happy to do that on your behalf, or if you wanted to send it to us directly, that's totally fine too. We had some conversation amongst ourselves over the course of the last two meetings, and I think overall, the consensus is that the board would be more than willing to entertain this and kind of help facilitate that process to the DEC.
Great, fantastic. Does anybody else have any comments on the letter?
You had a question, Skip, as to whether it should go from Fred or from the town board.
Well,
I
that
would
we'll
think it
leave
should go
that.
from the town board.
Yeah, we'll leave it. I think we should
Leave that up to
leave-
them. Okay.
Yes, I
Fair
think,
enough.
unless somebody else has strong opinions on that.
Mhm.
I mean, it is coming from that body, and however they
Yes.
feel it's stronger, you
Mhm,
know.
mhm. Okay.
So, but any other questions, any other comments on the body of the letter or anything like
It's a
that?
good letter. It's good, thanks.
Mhm.
Okay, fantastic.
Good.
All right, so during the comments last meeting, I brought up and put an attachment about the Community Preservation Fund. And asked people to look it over and see what they thought. And just to rehash what it is, it's a thing set up by the state, whereas localities can set up funds to preserve properties. And it is funded by real estate transfer tax of some percentage. 1% was bandied about. And it was also used by some communities to leverage grants and other funds to buy properties to preserve them. In that article, it pointed out that Tivoli, Red Hook, who else? Marbletown,
Marbletown.
Falls, Gardner, all had been involved in the process. Mary searched out some stuff. I searched out some stuff. It's a pretty big project. I mean, so but since these other communities have done it, the biggest leap when you Google it is that you have to get state okay for it through the legislature and through the Senate. But I think that's already been done. Ulster is on the list of being approved. So right now we're assuming that, that wouldn't have to be gone through again. But the town does have to put up referenda and stuff like that. So I reached out to Rich Paraday, who's the supervisor of Marbletown, to get his, a little bit of perspective from him. He wrote back. He sent some documents they had done. He said they were very, very happy with the program. The referendum that went around got 70% approval. I think I'll reach out to Tivoli and maybe Red Hook for their supervisors to see what kind of experience they had, So I just want to bring it up now. I want to gather all that information together. We don't have to have big discussions on it tonight. I'd rather gather this information together and send it to you all. And you can look at the original article to get the overview. You can go to the website to see the more specifics in the mechanics. And you can look over what maybe the three supervisors, their experience has been with it and how they went about it. And then we can have a discussion of whether, it's a big project, whether we want to take this on or have somebody help us take it on. So that's what I propose to do. And if you have any questions, do you have any comments on this? Okay, well, I'll send you that information out and maybe by the next meeting, we can have a larger discussion when everybody has a perspective on what it is. you know, the thing is why, I forget who sent it to me, but what it comes to mind is many people are having this thing. Oh, why didn't we buy Winston Farm? Why didn't we do that? You know, that horse is out of the barn already. But in the future, this is a way of setting up a fund. So if something else comes up, we're prepared to do something if that's what the community wants. So that's why it might be important to investigate this. Okay?
Mhm. Yep.
All righty. Mr. Town Board Liaison, Mr. Zach, you're up.
All right.
We're talking about the CCA and the Drinking
Yep.
Water Protection Plan, press release. Okay.
Yep. So I had a conversation with Bill Murphy. He confirmed for me the 3 contacts that are going to be representing the village in the DEC program, which is scheduled to close next Friday, I believe at 4 o'clock, 4 or 5 o'clock is the deadline. We will be, the intent is to submit formally by the end of this week in conjunction with the village. I'm just waiting for Fred to confirm for me the other 2 contacts for the program on behalf of the town. That's the only thing that we don't have confirmed yet, or at least that I don't have confirmation on yet. But like I said, the intent is to apply by the end of the week, with the deadline being the following Friday, the 28th. The CCA, excuse me, at last week's board meeting, we did adopt that memorandum, which basically there was a little bit of back and forth, a little hesitancy on what obligations that actually led us, or that actually mandates us to, but really it's just going to be considered a placeholder. Mary, I believe you were on the meeting, so if I'm incorrect on any of my information, please feel free to correct me. But that's really going to allow us to present ourselves holistically with all the other municipalities that are signing on. It does look like there are 4 more towns interested in Ulster County than there were this time last year exploring that agreement, which hopefully could get us a more competitive rate. The overall, hesitancy with what was presented to us was, the rates that are being projected are still a little high. The town is going to look at the 50% renewable option as the default option for this program. So that's where we are now. We're going to be waiting to get back that competitive pricing and see if this is actually something that's going to, financially be worthwhile for the town of Saugerties.
Okay, so the memorandum understanding, we had concerns about that. All that does
Yes.
is allow them to do an RFP. Is that
That
correct?
is correct. We would not be able to have visibility on the pricing that would be available without having signed on at that time. Now, it is not, like I said, we have no obligations. We are able to opt out. As a town, we reserve the right to not enter contract once that pricing becomes available. But yes, you're correct.
And the cooperation with the other towns, they can all go in or out and it's still the same deal. In other words, how many towns are on this one?
So last agreement, I want to say there were 11. This
Right.
year, this time around, I want to say Greg, the rep who presented the other night, had mentioned 15 towns in Ulster County, towns and villages are now are now trying to prescribe to the plan.
And any or all of them can do it and it doesn't change the situation.
That is my understanding. Yes, this again is just kind of a placeholder for visibility, and allows us the opportunity to see what those pricings will be before formally adopting and entering into contract.
Okay.
Zach, I was confused about that at the meeting because the memorandum says that the town will sign not only the MOU, but also the ESA, subject to certain conditions. And those conditions were, one, that the Jewel had got a response from one or more supplier, and also subject to the rate for 100% renewable that comes in is below the rate that we saw that night, which is 0.1249,
Mm-hmm.
and also below 0.111189. If the proposals come back, if one comes back and they're below those numbers, my understanding is that the town then agrees to it. It was very confusing because you're right. Glenn said, no, at that point you can accept it or reject it. But
Correct.
confused because of the way the memo was worded.
Yeah, and that's kind of where, and again, I know you were on the meeting. That's where some of our back and forth went. But no, after having our attorneys look at that agreement, you know, it's we're confident that if we are not satisfied with what the final product is shown to be, that we can opt out. That we're not, you know, obligated at that time to enforce those rates or the program in general.
Okay, good. I'm very glad to hear that, Zach.
Yep.
Because
That was, I mean, personally, that was my biggest hesitation, especially having gone through what we did with Columbia Utility. I'm all for, you know, offering a competitive rate and giving people an option. I don't want to take that opportunity away from Sorgerties, but I do want to prevent a catastrophe like we had with Columbia.
Yeah, yeah. No, I was very pleased that the town did agree to go forward with this.
Yes, absolutely.
If we don't have a CCA and anyone in the community who wants 100% renewable
Yep.
or 50, we have to go out to the open market and get it.
Correct.
I was
Correct.
very pleased that the town agreed, and I was very pleased the way Leanne had commented about she really would have liked the opportunity for this for the CAC and the task force to give some feedback on it. So I'm very glad to hear that. That's good news. There's one other part, and I think this train has left the station, but they talk in the Glenn and Jewel talk about, and it's called the blended electricity product.
Mm-hmm.
And Zach, we had a hard time the last time because when the 50% goes out there, or if it goes out there as blended electricity product, defined term, New York State renewable supply. I mean, people don't understand that means that 50% is from New York State and 50% is from out of the state, and it really is 100%. So I don't.
Correct.
If Glenn or Jewel can reword that, or in the letter that goes out, that it's just clear that people are getting 100%.
No, I'm glad, Mary, I'm glad you mentioned that. Following our meeting, we did have that conversation that we think, you know, in terms of just being as transparent and accurate as we can be, whatever literature is sent out on behalf of this program to drive that point home, because you're right. There was a lot of confusion about that last time around, and there would be this time around. But no, we did make it a point to have that addressed.
You know, I had conversation-
Steve has his hand up.
Oh, Steve?
Oh, I just wanted to ask Mary, what is an ESA that the town would sign?
The ESA is an energy supply agreement, and essentially what it says is we have an agreement with Jewel that they will be our supplier. And there's a whole bunch of provisions within that ESA.
I just didn't know what it stood for.
Yeah, energy supply agreement. And
Thank
also,
you.
Zach, I don't know if you looked at that. That was the other thing. The ESA that the last one I saw was from 2023. Glenn was saying
right.
that there's an updated ESA and that, you know, not immaterial. The changes were immaterial. The couple.
He used the word not. Yeah, that's exactly what he said.
Yeah. So you guys are okay with the agreement. I was curious what Jewel's fee is on this new ESA. In other words, what percentage does Jewel get?
Off the top of my head, Mary, I'm not certain on that. That's obviously something I can get. I don't want to speak to that confidently though, because I'm not positive.
Yeah. The last time it was 0.0008. So I was wondering, and of course, that fee is paid by the supplier.
Yep.
But of course, it gets factored into the overall.
Into the rate.
Yeah.
Yep.
It gets factored in. So, okay. Was there anything else for?
I have a comment on the 50-50 situation. I investigated that last time and went to a couple of sources and went to Sarah Hannah's office helped me contact somebody about that. And why the state didn't allow our literature to call it 100% or call that stuff 50% is there were certain documentations that needed to be done to back up the statement that that out-of-state supply was actually renewable. And it's my understanding that Jewel did not fill out those forms
Mm.
to do that. It seemed incredible that they would, here's renewable energy, just because it's out of state, doesn't mean we can't call it renewable. And the DEC was telling Jewel, no, you can't call it. And the reason that I got from the DEC was that they hadn't gone through the extra work to do the paperwork.
Yeah, to vet
to
that
affirm-
source.
Yes, so in this upcoming thing, that might be the linchpin to be able to say to the community, it's 50-50, but it's been verified, and check with Jewel this time to make sure that they do whatever's necessary so that in our literature, we can say that. Okay. Elizabeth's next.
Excuse me.
Elizabeth?
You're muted.
Elizabeth?
Unmute.
Elizabeth?
Click
can't
that
hear
thing
you,
in the
Liz.
bottom up here.
Kevin, why don't you unmute her?
No,
Hang on.
here I
Hang
am, Nick.
Oh, there we go.
Yes, I just wanted to add that I remember the last time we went through this 2 years ago, there was a great confusion between what half and 50% meant. So I'm glad that we're going to through this procedure now, as Skip mentioned with the DEC, to make sure that the procedures are followed properly this time.
Mary?
Yeah, just on that topic, my recollection was at one point, Jewel, the representative from Jewel said that that they were unable to change the wording because the PSC
Oh,
Maybe it's,
required certain
maybe
words.
it's the PSC. Maybe
Mary,
missed that.
I have recollection of that. I think you're correct.
So we know, so
Yeah.
because they're calling it blended right now, how, whether or not, my question is whether or not it's been corrected so that they can actually say in the letter that goes out, describe it so that, okay, and right, the town could do it the last time, or could and then couldn't do it, but just, okay, enough. Just to make sure that when this goes out to the public knows that it's 50% from New York State, 50% from out of state, so that we don't get back into that situation again.
Excellent point. Thank you for bringing that up, Mary.
Okay, anybody else on this?
That term blended is very
yeah.
uh,
Yes.
strange. You know,
Really
what's the public gonna
Right,
think
exactly.
when you hear the word blended? I
Right,
see it as fossil fuel and
Yes.
Nuclear,
Yep.
water. yeah.
renewable,
They could-
so I'd like to get rid of that word.
You know, they could call it multi-state. I mean, that just,
Or
Very easy.
yeah. I mean, that's what it is.
Was that blended nomenclature different than the 50-50 nomenclature in this latest proposal?
No.
No, in the latest proposal, let me pull it up again. It's blended electricity product.
Yep.
That's what we're calling it, blended electricity product.
What
Oh.
is
And
that?
that is very,
very confusing.
Absolutely.
and then the terminology for the dirty fossil fuel stuff is conventional electricity product.
Oh, dear.
We haven't talked about that, folks. Also, Zach, you want to address that, how the town is not going to be offering the dirty, filthy fossil fuel? You like the alliteration?
Yes. Yes, I can.
Well, that's what you said before. They were suggesting the 50-50 be the default.
Yes.
Yeah, but originally in the memorandum that was out there, the town was also going to offer the quote conventional electricity product, which is Central Hudson's dirty, filthy fossil fuel. But but Glenn said at the meeting that because it would not come in under the benchmark of comparable, to the Central Hudson, what is it, 12-month period, that it wouldn't meet that benchmark. So that my understanding, Zach, is that that will not be part of the offering. The conventional electricity product will not be part of the offering because it won't meet the requirements.
It won't, yeah, it won't meet their standard.
So I'm actually pleased about that because as a, Climate Smart Task Force, why would we ever want to offer the conventional fossil fuel, except that it is cheaper, but that's not really what we should be, in my view,
Yeah.
proposing.
Okay, any other comments on this? Okay. So, where's the letter from the Saugerties LLC stand?
Yep. Thank you for, that was my next segue. Skip, I believe I may have responded to you, Mike and Mary separately on this. Our attorney had reached out to their representation, and they, still have yet to provide a written response. But they were essentially told to cease and desist any further literature regarding the task force logo or climate smart Sororities logo. I did make it clear that the committee was looking for a written acknowledgement of the misuse and that it wouldn't happen again. I'm still waiting on that. At this point, I'm not sure if that's likely to come. I'm going to continue to press it, but they have been formally made aware that that misuse of the logo, misrepresentation can happen.
Zach, when you say formally, a letter or memo would in writing to?
They, I don't know if our attorney provided them with a written memo, but they were notified. I know initially by email. I don't know if something formal followed up after that conversation. I can see if we can get a copy of that, but I was privy to the email that was sent to their representative.
Oh, well, that's
Okay.
fine. It without in
Acknowledge-
writing and without it in email. I
Yes,
think.
yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, it initiated via, via email. I assumed you were looking for like a formal, letter in the mail style
No,
of
no,
communication. I
no.
don't know if that happened, but they were officially notified via email.
Okay, no, I was just clarifying that it
Yep.
wasn't just a verbal request, that it was in an
Yep.
email.
Like I said, I did, I said, respectfully, the task force would like, a formal acknowledgement, but that has yet to come.
So I just want to point out that I did send them an email before, which I sent a copy of you to.
So
And-
email's not
Excuse me.
sufficient.
And wait, let me, so I did that and they went ahead and redid it anyway. So maybe it was because of me, but I don't see an email not being responded to or not having a paper copy of something back
Yep.
is sufficient because of what happened before.
Sure.
They got an email from me and they didn't pay attention to it. So,
Yep.
okay, anybody else on this?
No, No, I think emails are insufficient.
Okay.
A formal letter.
Okay, and anything on the press release for the grant?
For the NYSERDA grant?
Yeah.
Yep. When I spoke to Fred, Mary, and this is where things become even a little bit more confusing. Fred was under the impression that somebody had volunteered from the committee to spearhead that. I know I think I included that in my response back to you and Skip that I don't have any evidence of that. I don't know if that's something that you're able to speak to more clearly, but I couldn't find any, email correspondence about that.
Yeah, I have the email chain on that. And
Okay.
yeah, the way it went was that I sent the draft press release to Terry.
Yep.
And I said and she got with the contact person to NYSERDA to get
Yep.
it approved before it went out. She asked me in an email, I said I really didn't have time. I was not going to be able to do it.
Okay.
And then the email also brought in Kathleen at one point that Kathleen might be doing it, but Kathleen said she didn't have a copy of the press release. And
Okay.
that's where it is, Kathleen. Yeah. So that's where it was left off in my email chain.
Okay.
So in other words, there's been nobody has ever sent that draft press release to NYSERDA to get their approval and to get their quote, correct?
That's my understanding. No.
You sent it to Terry, Mary?
I sent an email to Terry with the press release. That was the first email. I can send that around to you and to Zach and to Skip if you would like. I think
Thank you, Mary. Because like I said, when I spoke to Fred about this, the timeline that you just laid out, I know was similar to what we spoke about last month. And that's kind of how I approached it with Fred. But then he had mentioned that somebody had volunteered to take on that draft. But like I said, I didn't have any email chain or evidence of that, so I was a little unsure of how to proceed with Fred.
Well,
Yeah, okay.
Mary made the draft. It just has to be submitted to,
Yeah, to
To
NYSERDA.
NYSERDA for their approval.
NYSERDA.
Yeah.
Mary,
Right,
you
so-
can send it to me.
I'll send you the draft, sure.
Send it to me. I'll send it to
And
NYSERDA.
you'll follow up with NYSERDA.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
I can
great.
do that.
Great.
okay.
And
Okay.
by the way, since we're talking about that, we did receive the $75,000 balance that was due us. So Fred is happy. We have the 2 trucks and we have the grant money.
That's great.
Now, all we need is the photo op and the press release and the,
Well, NYSERDA, we had to submit pictures of the trucks in the final request for funding. So they're going to use them on their website. NYSERDA
Oh,
okay.
is
great.
going to use the pictures. I guess they're going to have like an informational thing about things that have been funded, and they requested to use those photographs, and I said I thought there would be no problem with that. So we do have photographs, and they're going to, you know, one of them is nicer than the other, so I don't know if I would put 2 photographs any place. I'd give them one, but not both of them, because one of them isn't that attractive.
I mean, it would be nice to have the town board, in the photo for the press.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yes, it would,
Yeah.
right. I guess we could ask somebody to take a photo.
Yeah, we should. Yeah.
Get the 2 trucks together and get the town board
Yeah.
together.
You think you'd be up for that, Zach?
Yeah, that's something that I think we can kind of easily coordinate.
I mean, that's all to your
No,
credit too, so you might as well get your mug in there, you know what I mean?
The
Well,
credit is
then-
definitely to this committee and to Kathleen.
Well, thank you, but so when you get a photograph, give it to me, and then in the meantime, I'll be getting the approval from NYSERDA.
Great, fantastic.
Excuse me.
Okay, anything else on this? Anything else from the town board? Anything else you want to ask the town board?
I'll jump in just real quick, Skip, just while we're on the topic of grants and NYSERDA. Last meeting, we did unanimously appoint Cora Mitchell as Kathleen's kind of understudy to the grants world on behalf of the town. So we look forward to her kind of getting on board, getting trained up in the world of grants, and yeah, again, I just want to take the opportunity to thank Kathleen for all her hard work. Grants management is a very thankless job, so we very much appreciate it.
Kathleen,
It gets
thank you.
intense.
I want to second that too, because it seems so great. Oh, great, we got this grant. And Kathleen has to go through to get grant processed and to get from, yeah, we got it to,
Yeah.
yeah, but we got the money, kind of thing. So kudos to you, Kathleen.
Thank
Yeah,
you. You
good
know,
job.
it's not that it ends when we are awarded a grant.
Uh-huh.
That's when the nitty gritty paperwork begins, follow up. That's what takes time,
That's-
more time.
That's exactly that's exactly the point that I was trying to make, Kathleen. It's just the bureaucracy and the paperwork and the back and the forth and the dotting the i's and crossing the t's. So kudos to Kathleen.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, anything from the planning board?
Not yet.
Nope,
Tomorrow, you can show up.
okay.
No, but there's nothing to communicate at this point.
Are there any announcements? When are the next repair cafes, just so we're reminded?
Next one is the first Saturday in June. We've scheduled 3 a year. The first
Uh-huh.
Saturday in February, June, and October.
Great.
And what's the dates
Thank
on
you.
the June?
June 7th, I believe, and October 4th.
Okay, put it on your calendars. Hey, get a knife sharpener. I need a knife sharpener.
He was there last time. He wasn't there this time. He should be there in June.
Okay, I'll gather my knives.
Yeah,
And
he actually,
you and a bunch of other people too. It gets really noisy and busy.
Oh, yeah? So,
actually lives here in Saugerties,
he does?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he does. Yep, yep.
on North Street, on the new apartments there.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Are we talking about Peter, the same person, Carol?
John, oh, this is different.
Oh,
There's
different.
more than one knife sharpener in Ulster County? Okay, sorry.
More than one,
I
yeah.
jumped.
What we really need is a shoemaker who can repair shoes.
Oh,
You know, we
yes.
used to have one in
Yeah, I remember
town
that guy. That was great.
and we don't have it anymore.
I just called Delmar Bootery. They can fix, boots and shoes.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah,
Where
but
are they?
that's in Delmar, so you got a little drive up the thruway. It's a nice though, and they're in Stuyvesant Plaza in
Yes.
Albany.
And they
Oh.
also fix leather dog leashes.
They're
Oh.
good.
I happen to know.
Yeah, I went to them years ago.
Yep.
We also
Yeah.
had a volunteer who's gonna be with us in June, who fixes guitars.
Oh, who is that?
You're gonna ask me a name? I don't know.
I don't put you on the spot here, but
It's Chris or somebody, but I'm not sure. I've never met him. Just got an email from him the other day. So he'll be around. Then we've got, more electrical mechanical coming in, which is what we need because they are so busy, so yeah.
okay.
By the
great.
way, I just want to mention one thing. Has anyone heard any rumors about an apartment complex going in opposite where the new apartments, townhouses are on North Street?
No.
You know that patch of
The
land?
village.
That's a hill
Mm-hmm.
and it's covered with brush and trees. I am hearing that someone wants to level it and put an apartment complex in there.
I would have think that was town
Originally-
property, huh?
Yeah, I think, well, it's behind the town hall on that side, right? And if I remember correctly, there was a plan a long 5-7 years ago that was in play and it never happened. So it'll be interesting to see if anything happens again.
Is that not the village?
Mhm,
It's the
yes.
village.
It's the
So it
village.
wouldn't come to us. It wouldn't come to the town board. It's the village.
Right, no, it's the village.
So it would go to be
I just
for,
pay attention to this.
Mhm.
so,
Okay.
so it would go before the village trustees.
Planning
and
board.
village
Right.
plan. Right.
Gonna be
Okay,
very
no more, any
congested.
other announcements?
Well, I just wanted to, something we've been working with at the agency is obviously the federal pause or the pause of the pause. And just wondering if anybody has any handle on how it might affect the town, how it might affect NYSERDA. And I understand that NYSERDA is a state, but it also receives more than likely federal funding. So I wanted to just sort of like the galloping down the road towards us. And if anybody has any sense of what the town is prepared to do. in a case of some federal funding that we don't get. So
Hmm.
I don't know enough personally, so I can't help here.
I
I
can
just-
I can speak to this a little bit because I would say 75% of what I do is federal dollar related. So we're a little up in the air at the moment because um, the communication with FEMA has been kind of radio silent, to be honest with you, these last couple weeks. A lot of those folks are kind of scrambling for their lives, to be honest with you.
Mhm.
Um, in terms of how it's going to impact Sorgady's, albeit I'm not hands-on involved just because it would be a conflict of interest, but there are a few law enforcement related and emergency response related grants that I would say for the past 4 or 5 fiscal years, Sorgady's has been the recipient of. Grants are administered at the state level, but they are federal dollars. So it could impact our response and our ability to kind of sustain current capabilities that we have right now. What that impact could look like, I'm not entirely sure. It's kind of hard to speak to. We do benefit also from money that is trickled down from the county level, which the county receives on behalf of the federal government and FEMA. So again, that could
Could
also impact communications, future communication projects that we'd look to accomplish to make sure that our EMS, fire department, law enforcement agencies are all on the same wavelengths. So again, it's hard to speak to with certainty, but to answer your question, yes, it could impact the town of Sorgady's. Working with our partners at the state level, it's still kind of business as usual. We don't expect, as of right now, any monies that are allocated at the state level to be impacted. So we're continuing with those, like I said, as business as usual right now until further notice.
Thank you. Yep.
Okay, any other comments?
Elizabeth has her hand up.
Oh, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
yeah.
Oh, yes. It just see something that Carol spoke of a few minutes ago about a meeting tomorrow. Did that have to do with the proposed development on 9W?
The planning board is meeting tomorrow, and then there's one that's going to be off behind the Dunkin' Donuts, not Namaste. Is that where you're talking about?
I think so, or 9W, yeah.
It's off of 9W. Yeah.
And how large would that be?
I believe it was 24.
It's not huge
24
then.
units. No, it'll be in the same area. Behind it is the Habitat for Humanity single residences.
Right.
Okay.
And these will be townhouses. There's will be children taking buses. So we're in the throes of looking at that site plan.
Okay, thank you.
Carol, isn't there another one a little bit further up 9W by that new pizza place between there and the Trinity Church Cemetery? You know what I mean?
Not
Between
yet.
between Overbaugh and Simmons. Just
This is, I'm sorry. Do you have a name by any chance?
no, my name is Linda, but no.
No, no, I know. No, no. Do you have a name for the?
No, absolutely not. But I just recall that there was consideration about
Yeah.
development.
Well, obviously there's the one with the sisters that own the
Yes.
land.
Yeah.
Is that the one that you're referring to?
I don't know. I don't know.
Overbaugh. I'm very,
It's right at the edge of the village. As you come around the bend,
I think that's the one.
yeah.
you think that's the one? The
I
sisters?
think that's the one, the sisters one.
Okay.
No.
It's not? Okay.
This is a who's on first question. I'll get more information and get
Okay.
back.
Yeah, you can, if you want, you can email me and I can give you.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Thanks, Carol.
And I can do it for everybody, just
Okay.
broadcast it.
Any other comments? So do I have a adjournment?
Move to adjourn.
Move to adjourn?
Another well-run meeting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Chop, chop.
Yeah.
Bravo.
Okay, thanks, everybody. I'll
Thank you.
get the information out. I'm not pushing hard on the community, preservation funds, but we should at least look at it, develop it and understand what's going on there to say no or yes or whatever, just to be aware of it. And I'll get that
Right.
stuff out to you. Okay, thanks,
Yeah.
everybody.
Thank
Thank you.
you.